Alright, so I got off my lazy ass, and I'll make this basic guide for the new event, the Crusade of Edda. So, here's where we start out. Let's go with the map first. You don't start in the snowfield area. So, this region that I'm hovering over is the grass region, and you'll start out there. Your legion of 60 people will be broken into 5 groups of 12, and each group will start out in their designated regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And your goal is to reach the gateway that lets you go into the desert region. And you see, you gotta kind of work the path here. And from the desert region, go to the next gateway that leads you to the forest region, and then the next gateway that leads you to the snowfield, where ultimately you go to the boss castle and you fight the boss, the snake, Jormungandr. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but whatever. Oh wait, I remember now. It's pronounced Jormungand. Yeah. So that's where you'll reach Jormungand, the giant world serpent boss, and fight him. Alright. So, now that we have the progress part covered, let's go into the technical aspects. When you start out, the event gives you hero seats like these. It'll give you 10 hero seats, which you don't have to occupy and fill with heroes immediately. You can start late if you want. Not a good idea, but you can. The reason I say that is because those first 10 hero seats will continue to regenerate strength points at a recovery rate, as you see there, of 4 strength per hour. That's only applicable to the first 10 hero seats. So you don't have to put heroes in there and it'll still keep building up. But as you progress and you obtain more hero seats, those do not regenerate strength if you don't put a hero in them. So you kind of want to take advantage of putting in a hero right away. Alright, so with that, let's go on to the next thing. Your goal in going from gateway to the boss is to claim lands. Now I'll show you an example of the weakest type of land, starting back at the grassy area. Uncultivated land, a tier 1, or no, not a farm village. Where is it? A farm village tier 1, and then there's a farm village tier 2. So the lands go all the way from tier 1 up to tier 8, which you can claim. And the tiers determine how difficult of a fight it is, and also how much resources you gain from it. So the reason I said before why you want to fill up your first 10 hero seats with heroes immediately is so you can get started on claiming land, because the faster you claim land initially, you'll get that resource regeneration going right away. So as you occupy land, you have a limit how much land you can occupy or claim. So you don't want to always be going for the same tier, because you're just going to be replacing the oldest claimed tier and you gain no increase in your resource regeneration. You want to go progressively higher. While you're doing that, you want to occupy land in a direction towards the gateway to help your legion go towards the gateway, because the gateways have bosses that you have to fight, and in addition to the bosses, there are enemy hero teams that you have to defeat to take the gateway completely down so you can travel into the next terrain area. Alright, so it's a good idea to, within your legion, have some sort of communication going so people know what the idea is. And on top of that, since I brought that up, you have well, here's a bit of obvious strategy. You have 5 groups of 12 that start out. And let's say this group reached their gateway first, right? So every other group working towards their gateway, it would be a waste of strength resources if everybody tried to go towards the desert to forest gateway from all 5 paths. Rather, a good idea is, once one group reaches a gateway, have everybody pile on and help take the gateway down, and then you can progress into the next area and everybody can start working one path towards the next gateway. That way you're not having 5 different paths and so much strength wasted trying to get to one gateway. Anyway, let's see what else is in my notes here. Yes. So yeah, you want to progressively get higher on the tiers of land that you claim so that you can get higher resource regeneration, but you still want to save a few spots reserved for helping your legion progress, because obviously you're not going to get all the ideal land you want going in the direction towards the next gateway. Sometimes you might have to claim, some empty land that is a lower tier than you'd like. Well, that's where you would have those few spots where it stays the same tier so that you don't really care if you claim and overwrite that spot. Because remember, the oldest and lowest tier spot of land that you claimed gets replaced if you reach your limit. Right. And so eventually, when you do reach the snow area, most of the legion, if you've progressed that far, most of the people in the legion should have a pretty high regeneration rate for their resource gain, because you have all of these higher tiered lands, and even the blank lands, the traveling lands in the snow area, they're tier 5 and you're getting 100 resources per hour, the resources being ethers. So let's talk more on that. So ethers are used to progress your elder tree in combination with any elder tree stones that you might randomly pick up from your resource gain that you get from the claimed lands. On a rare occasion, they'll pop up with one. So there's your ethers, and then any elder stones that you have in your capacity. So that's another reason why, getting on the ball and getting it started is important, so you can get those ethers and get more and progress your elder tree. Your elder tree has 5 different divinity groups with selected heroes attached to each of them. And as you level up your elder tree, those heroes in that group at levels 2, 3, and 5 get these special effects depending on what divinity they are. I'm just going through these real quick. You can pause the video if you want to read over any of the divinity level effects. So, right, it's important to level up your divinity levels within the Elder Tree because it helps your heroes be able to take on those higher tiered lands, because they are tough battles without proper divinity levels. And as you progress, the other thing besides the Elder Tree is your persona. So you start out at the Nomad persona, working all the way up to the Saint. Now, I don't have the... Oh, there it is. On the upgrades, it tells you. So yeah, you can see on this chart, going all the way from Nomad to Saint, it tells you your limits that you can increase as you progress through the persona levels. The persona levels are increased by completing the quests that they ask. Sometimes the quests are, we want you to gather this many amount of ethers. We want you to get this many Elder Tree upgrades done. You know, tasks similar to that. And leveling up the persona faster is important because obviously the more lands you have, the more claimed land limit that you have, the more heroes that you have, the more resources and the more strength that you'll have available to do fights to gain resources or progress for your legion. And then also your Elder Tree limit goes up from 1 all the way to 5. So that'll let you reach those higher tiered Elder Tree skills and also give more bonus buffs to your heroes depending on what divinity groups they're in. So that's everything that you need to know to progress. When you do finally reach the final boss, Jormungand, you fight the boss. Now you can see we've taken down Jormungand. So the boss and all of the enemy hero teams, once you take them down, a 24-hour timer starts. And once that 24-hour cooldown is complete, Jormungand comes back with a higher, there you go, you see, a higher star level, which means that Jormungand has higher stats, more health, and is generally harder to kill. But doing damage to Jormungand is what gives your legion more final boss damage points, which contribute towards your leaderboard ranks. And the leaderboard ranks here are important because you get some nice rewards depending on your rank. So I think I've covered everything on a basic level for the Crusade of Edda. If there's any additional bits of information you want me to tell you, just say it in the comments. I'll write up a response as best as I can. But I think I've said enough to where your legion can formulate decent strategies. Oh, I did forget to mention one thing. Your guild, the Legion matchmaking system, tries its best to put as much of your same guild members in the same Legion. You won't get everyone, but you'll get most of them. So if you're worried about not being with your guild, don't worry there. Most of your guild should be put into the same Legion. Alright, well that's it. Bye.